Hi, welcome to another one of my videos. I haven't made one in a really long time, so it could be a bit rusty, it could be a little bit choppy. We'll see how it goes, but you know, editing can really change up the video, so hopefully I can make myself look decent. And the camera, I think I've figured out the camera a little bit better. My fiance helped me figure out there's something that automatically focuses, automatically does the color. Did I know that? No, I didn't, because we have really yellow lighting in our apartment. And anyways, nobody really cares. I am blabbering. I have so many books to show you, and this is books that I have accumulated since I think December, maybe a little bit before, but really it's like books I've been given for December. Robert and I did a book swap for Valentine's Day. I mean, I can't even tell you why there's so many of them. I need to stop. I want to jump right into the video. I don't even know. I don't think I'm gonna have a particular order. I think I'm just gonna show the books and kind of describe if I know something about them. If I don't, then hopefully you've seen them somewhere else, because a lot of them are recommended from BookTube and then a little bit of Book Talk, but really I've seen my TikToks on Instagram Reels, so I'm sure these are books that you have seen as well. So the first one I'm gonna show is Killers of a Certain Age. Love the cover, love the way it looks, love the red with the off-white. And I think this is about some ladies who are in a retirement home, and they used to be hit women, and of course they've retired because they're older, but now they have a hit put out on them. So I am really into romances, so I'm trying to switch it up by doing things like this that are mystery, but they have a cool twist to them of these are older women and they're in a retirement home. And so this is a good way to enter my way into mysteries. I've read a few, but I'm not committed. The next one I have is from Target, Hidden Pictures, and obviously on sale, so I had to get it. And it has really cute drawings, like this one. And I believe the plot is a babysitter who's watching this kid, and he starts making these drawings, and they end up being premonitions of things that are happening. So that looks really interesting. Love that they added the drawings. Love that it was on sale. Dating Dr. Dill. Actually, this isn't something I bought recently, but I'm going to show you it. Dating Dr. Dill. Dating Dr. Dill was recommended by, I'll put her name right here, Pages. She says she's not into romances, but this was a romance she really loved, and I gave it 2 stars. I gave it 2, wasn't really into it. He had a name for his thingy. It was called Charlie. So at that point, I was just checked out. I was done. I was over it. But to each their own, right? That's the beauty of books. This is a book that I got from my aunt for Christmas, and it's called The Sound of the Sea. So it's about seashells and the fate of the ocean, because the ocean is becoming warmer, it's becoming more acidic, so shells are having a hard time surviving. Their calcium carbonate shells are deteriorating because of the acidity of the ocean. So this is going to be a really interesting read. I'm not really into much nonfiction, so I'm hoping this will be a jump start. And I'm into shells too, so this should be a good one. I finally got Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I feel like everybody's heard of Emily Henry. This is placed in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. I am currently in North Carolina, so I thought I gotta try this book out. It's a romance. I love romance, but sometimes I'm not in the mood for it, but mainly I am. So this will be a good option for when I want to read romance. This is a book that's really popular on BookTube that I've seen, and it is City of Bones, or is it? Yeah, City of Bones. It was buy one get one 50% off, so that's why I justified buying this one. I'm not super into fantasy, but I'll show a book that I got that I read recently that's fantasy. So I'm trying to dip my toe into different genres, because I really was committed to romance for a long time, and just trying to test out different things, because I feel like a lot of romances I get the recommendations from BookTube or on Reels on Instagram, and then I end up not liking them, but I keep buying them because I love being a part of something. I love seeing, oh my god, I saw this book, I have to get it, I have to read it. but then I end up not liking it. And I'll show an example of a book, of a romance book I got recommended that I ended up not really loving. But City of Bones, fantasy, don't know much more than that. Know that it's a very huge series, so that's terrifying to begin. So the romance book I was talking about is Twisted Love, and I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. I just didn't love it, and I can't even off the top of my brain tell you what it was about. I'm sure if I think about it I would remember more so, but it wasn't a book that stuck with me. It was spicy, which I don't mind spice, but it needs to be done in a certain way. It needs to not be just so unrealistic. But to each their own. Again, to each their own. So I wasn't obsessed. I don't know if I'll read the next one, but maybe I will. Who knows? This is a book I got recently, and my friend gave it to me for my birthday. You got a little peep right there. She gave it to me again for my birthday. It's in April, so she did it a little early for me when we went to little local bookstores and thrift bookstores, and then we ended up at a Barnes & Noble, which is where she bought me A Court of Thorn and Roses. And I got this one because I'll show you next the fantasy book that I did read, and I thought it would have more romance in it, but it wasn't as much as I had hoped, which of course is just the first book of a fantasy series. But I've heard this one has a ton of romance in it, so I'm excited to read this one. I feel a little burnt out from the other fantasy book I read. Let me just show you. It was The Cruel Prince. So I read this and it got me a little burnt out on fantasy. I enjoyed it, but something about it made me take forever to read it. But maybe that's because I'm used to YA and easier reads, so it was well, this is YA. This is a YA book, so, you know, maybe it's just because something about it was off for me. But I did like it. I gave it 4 stars, so not really sure, but I'm gonna read the next one. It was good enough for me to want to read the next one. But if you've read this book, please let me know what you thought about it, and if you're feeling the same vibes I am of not really sure why I didn't like it, don't really know. I'm excited to read this one though and see if there's more romance. This is a book I bought with that same friend at a local bookstore. It's called Quail Ridge, and maybe I have a little clip here of it, or I'll put the name up. And I got Part of Your World. I've heard really good things about this book. It has a good Goodreads rating, and it's about a woman who is, I believe she's part of a more affluent life. She's from the city, and she meets a man who's younger than her, and he's from a farming background, and he comes from less money, and she's trying to figure out how he fits into her world, which I really love. And I'm really excited to read this book because romance isn't always going to be a perfect fit. Not romance, but the partner you end up with. You know, what are the things that you'll give and take of in a relationship, and just because something monetary, would you give up somebody you're really in love with? Not really sure what you would do, but I feel like love is love, and then you figure out the rest as you go. So I'm interested to see what she does. The next book I got from that local bookstore is a Tweet Cute, or just Tweet Cute, and I believe this is YA. I felt like it would be a good in-between read of something that was intense. I will show you an intense book I read. This could have been a book I read after that. And it kind of reminds me of a faux love story, which I did not finish. I DNF'd that. Maybe one day I'll finish it, but you know, hopefully high hopes for this one. I think it's about 2 competing restaurants, and they're tweeting from that restaurant page, but then they end up kind of in a Twitter war, but they don't know each other, and then there's some type of romance that ensues. So, you know, romance, it should be good for me, but you know, sometimes I read a romance and I hate it, so, well, you know, I'm all over the place. But high hopes, cute cover, and have seen it on BookTube, so that's why I grabbed it. I'm a sucker for being involved in the BookTube things. So speaking of the book that was intense, it was If He Had Been With Me. I keep starting to read it and then not realizing what the title actually is. This book made me cry. I have read it, gave it 5 stars. I love it. I'm obsessed. You should read it. I think it's YA, and I read it in 2 days. Love it. I think I got it from Barnes & Noble, possibly, and I had seen Sarah, I think her last name is Crowley, she read this book, she cried, and I wanted to do a vlog of reading this, but I just didn't. I just wanted to read it. I loved it. I loved it so much. It really brings back your high school days and just makes you reminisce on things of friendships and things that were problems in that day and age of your life that you realize weren't that big of a deal, and if you had made different choices and not overthought it, it could have brought you different places. So such a good book. I love this book. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is a romance series that I've seen all over BookTube and TikTok, Instagram, whatever. This was a while ago that I saw, and I still haven't read it, but it's this duology. It happened one summer in Hook, Line, and Sinker. I bought this one and didn't realize this one was first, so gotta read these, and summer is coming up, so it should be a good read for then. Very popular online. I'm hoping it's good. It's about an influencer who falls in love or meets a fisherman, which I assume they fall in love. Should be pretty good romance. If not, I will let you know. I haven't read a Tessa Bailey yet, so I'm excited to see. I don't mind if it's a little cheesy because I like Lifetime movies. I don't mind cheesiness, so we'll see. A book I got for Christmas is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I think it won some award on Goodreads, like Book of the Year or something. So this will be really good. I hope so. It's a different type of genre, I think, of video games, and there's some type of romance, I think, involved. I read the first 10 pages, gave up. I'm not really sure why I did that. At some point I will read this, but I've heard really good things about it, and the cover is beautiful, so that doesn't hurt. I have recently fallen in love with Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read both of these books and loved them. I especially loved One True Loves. It's about a woman who finds a new love, but then her deceased husband is not deceased. So she has to decide, you know, do you have one true love, two true loves? Who do you decide to be with? You know, I don't know. She thought he died in a helicopter accident. He didn't. And then after I read this one. I enjoyed it, not as much as the other one. I think the other one I gave 5 stars, this one 4 stars. I'll put my Goodreads in the description. But this one is about a marriage that is kind of falling apart. They decide to take a year apart and see what happens. They're allowed to date anybody they want, do whatever they want. They just cannot come in any contact with each other, and they've fallen out of love. So will this year apart bring them together, further apart, and what will happen with their romance? I really enjoyed this one. I don't think I liked it as much as the other one, but I really, really liked it. This is a book I bought and read because of Sarah Caroli, and it's Tell Me Lies. I think I gave it 3 stars. I was not obsessed, but I know she's known for liking toxic relationships, and she loves Magnolia Parks and all that, so I didn't mind that toxic part. I mean, it got repetitive, but I can't remember exactly what it was, and I honestly shouldn't tell you, it'd give away the book, but there were things that did not wrap up the way I wanted them to, there were different problems in the book and they wrapped up in like the last 10 pages. So there wasn't enough oomph on the issues that were going on at the end. It just was, oh, this is what happened and it's over at the end. So I just wanted a little bit extraness at the end. Don't remember what I rated it. This is a book my fiance gave me for Christmas. It was The Blame Game. I think I rated it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's just super short, so it could have had some more going on in there. It was about a therapist, and there's starting to be a blame game of who has killed who did what, you don't really know. And it was interesting. It kind of reminded me of The Silent Patient in a way, since it's a therapist who is, you know, there's something going on with the therapist and is dealing with interesting clients. She has a darker past to the therapist, and the police start looking into it and wondering about her life, and, you know, drama ensues. So 3 out of 5. I read this book as well already, and I went to Barnes & Noble and I was wanting a summery book because I missed the summer I turned pretty, and I remember when I got back into reading, it was during summertime, and there were so many hits after hit after hit after hit. Love in Other Words, love it. It was so hard to find books that I was obsessed with, so, you know, I wanted a little summertime book. It was Sunkissed. Already read it. Can't remember what I rated it, but it was really, really cute. It was about a girl who is in high school, and her family take a vacation every year, and this year they went to a cabin, and it wasn't just a cabin tent in the woods. It was a big place like Great Wolf Lodge, and they have all these activities and things to do. She ends up meeting this guy, and she did not know what was going to happen during this time at camp with this guy, and it has something to do with music. So if this is up your alley, you could check this out. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. It reminded me of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So if you like that, you'll probably like this. Another book that I have gotten, yes, I don't know how many there are, but I've realized the past 3 months I've gotten out of control. This one is Georgie All Along. It was a book of the month book. I think I have 2 or 3 book of the month books I haven't read yet, so I will not be getting any more until I finish all of those, because I have to be controlled. It's not okay. So I have started reading this book. I'm not too far into it, but it's about a girl who's trying to find herself again. She lost her job, so she's going back to her hometown, and she just doesn't know who she is, what she wants. She doesn't have any direction. What does she need to do to find direction in life? Does she find romance during this book? It seems like she does from what the synopsis says. So she's going back to her small town, and it looks like it's going to be really good. I like the pink and the yellow of the cover. It really drew me in, and so far so good. Another book, yet another book, is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. It's from that small bookshop near me, Quail Ridge, and I was obsessed with this book. I was obsessed. 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. And I just could not get enough of this book. I loved it. I read Better Than the Movies because of Haley Pham. Did not like that book. Did not enjoy that book. It was too YA for me. It was too simple. But this book, it was a little bit more adult. Really loved the romance in this book. Loved the relationship. And let me read a little bit of the back to give it somewhat of justice. Bad luck has always followed Olivia Marshall, or maybe she's just the screw-up her family believes she is. But when a "what are you wearing" text comes from a random number into the hottest, most entertaining, I'll bet anonymous relationship of her life, she thinks things might be on the upswing. What happens? You will have to find out. Now, I read this book, was obsessed, so I pre-ordered The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I did that. I pre-ordered it. Should I have? Probably not, but I have it sitting on my table in my bedroom, and I'm nervous to read it because I'm worried it's not going to hold up to Mr. Wrong Number, and I'm going to be disappointed. Or I'm also worried that I'm going to love it, and then there's not another one for me to read. So I'm holding off on it, but I have really high expectations for it. It says, Hailey Piper is turning over a new leaf. After belly crawling out of a hotel room, she decides it's time to become a full-on adult. She gets in a new apartment, a new haircut, a new wardrobe, but when she logs on to the dating app that she has determined to find her new love, she sees nothing other than Jack Marshall, the guy's room she snuck out of. So it's reminding me the same theme of Mr. Wrong Number, because the girl in that book, Olivia, was, you know, a mess up, a klutz. And what is she gonna do? She, you know, this guy... I'm not gonna say anymore. I don't want to give anything away. What did I just do with my eye? I don't know. It says after they agreed to not being into each other, they went on another date. This will be good. I am putting it into the universe. This is going to be really good. Another book I have. I can't remember exactly when I got this one, but I've seen it recommended everywhere, so I'll show it to you. A Little Life. Apparently another very sad book. So I'm excited to read it, but not in the mood for a sad book right now, so I haven't read it yet. And not exactly sure what it's about. I think it's about college relationships. That could be completely wrong. Let me see. Yep, that's right. A Little Life follows 4 college classmates, broke adrift and buoyed only by their friendship and ambition as they move to New York in search of fame and fortune. I'm gonna love this. I'm pretty sure I am. It's a thick book, so taking my time of picking it up. Another book. The book that I got for Valentine's Day is A Beach Read by Emily Henry. Have I read this yet? I haven't. How have I not read it? I don't know. It's the book that started everything, I feel like, of BookTube and TikTok. Everyone was reading Beach Read, Love in Other Words, and I forget, maybe Summer Turned I Turned Pretty. Don't really know. How have I not read it? Don't know. I have it now though. Thank you, Robert. So, gonna read this. Everyone loves Augustus too, the guy, right? Pretty sure that's the guy in it. It says they're polar opposites, and then I'm not really sure. And I don't want to read too much at the back, but I think it's about two different writers, and again, love ensues. How does it ensue? We don't know. That's why we read it. Another book I got for Valentine's Day. Yes, I'm spoiled. It's The Sweet Spot. It was a 50%, buy one get one 50% off. So he got me one, he got one. It's the best of both worlds. This one is about the baby is not Lauren's. Lauren already has 3 kids, 2 imperious house guests, and looming deadline that could make or break her career. The baby is not Olivia's. Olivia has big dreams, but she also has a bad case of breakup remorse and a worse case of student debt. And the baby is certainly not Melinda's. Melinda and her newly minted ex were always dead set against becoming parents. That is, until someone had a change of heart. What happened? We don't know. But I'm going to read it and we're going to find out. Another book Robert gave me is Sailor Moon. Such a pretty cover. Haven't read many comic books. I read... What's it called? Oh my god. It's the 2 boys that fall in love. I'll put the name up. I don't know why I can't remember it right now, but... love that comic series, and I have a coloring book about it. I have the yearbook for it, so that was really fun. I've heard, you know, this is a classic anime comic book, so I'm gonna try this out. A book I got for Christmas is The First to Die at the End. Did I read the first book? I read most of it and DNF'd it, but my fiance got me this book, so you know, I gotta try it out. It's a thickin'. It's a thick book. But it could be different than the first one, or maybe I'll enjoy the plot more. Did you read this book? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Did you enjoy the first book and didn't make it to the prequel? We'll see. It's about, I know the first book is about maybe it's called The Last to Die at the End, and it's about these boys who get a text or whatever, a call that you are gonna die on this day. You don't know how, you don't know exactly when, but you get the notification that you are going to be dying somehow, and I think it's a way to control the population of the earth. So these are going to be the first people it happens to, I assume. So that should be probably more interesting, because it's the beginning of this crazy way that has been decided to control population. I hope that never happens in real life. Fingers crossed. Another book I got for Christmas is I Was Born for This. This is by Alice Oseman, the same comic book series that I really enjoyed of the 2 boys. Why can I not remember the name right now? Can't remember it. Anyways, it's by the same person, but it's not a comic book series. It's an actual book. The text is so small, but it should be enjoyable. It should be about, I think it's about a high schooler and has this dream of being a musician. Love her artwork. She's such a good artist. Beautiful cover. I'm interested to see though how her writing goes compared to her comics. That'll be really interesting. I have a few more. I know. Don't know what to tell you. So this is when I went back to that small bookstore, Quail Ridge, with Robert, and I went down the aisle and I went, you know, which book am I going to pick up? He told me when to stop. This is the book I landed on, The Makeup Test. And I saw this at my library yesterday too, so maybe it's starting to pop off, don't really know. It's a little bit at the back says, Allison Avery loves to win. After acing every academic challenge she's come up against, she's finally been accepted into her dream PhD program at Claymore University, studying medieval literature under a professor she's admired for years. Sure, grad school isn't easy, the classes are intense, her best friend is drifting away, and her students would rather pull all-nighters and discuss The Knight's Tale, but she's got this until she discovers her ex-boyfriend has also been accepted. Ew. Poor girl. Colin Benjamin might be the only person who loves winning more than Allison does, and when they're both assigned to TA for the same professor, the game is on. She's gonna be going through it. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm very much a mood reader, so I pick up books when I want, but the problem with that is that I'll be like, oh no, I saw this book on BookTube, I gotta buy this book because I'm in the mood to read it. I gotta stop doing that because then I will never finish any of my books, and now I have way too many to finish, even probably in this year. So I've got to get it together, and we're moving into a different apartment, so I need to have some more moolah. So these books are taking up some moolah. Better start going to the library so I can afford to live in more than a cardboard box. The next book I have here is The Ex Talk, and I read The Weather Girl, loved it, obsessed with it. I really related to it, so I'm excited to read The Ex Talk. It's about a girl who has a podcast, and I read the first few pages of this and didn't continue reading it, and the guy was in her podcast room. She's so annoyed. This is my room. Why are you in here? And I can see that's probably the person she's going to have a feud with. Let's see if they fall in love. And I think it's about a podcast. Two exes will deliver relationship advice live on air. The boss decides Shay and Dominic are the perfect co-hosts given how much they already despise each other. Neither loves the idea of lying to listeners, but it's this or unemployment. And you do what you gotta do to hold a job. So they're holding their job down, do what you gotta do. I'm excited for this one. Next book is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne, author of The Hating Game. Don't think I've read a Sally Thorne book yet, but this cover is beautiful. I love it. I love Halloween. I love Frankenstein, so I thought I would enjoy this book. Haven't started it yet. And the text is kind of small. You know, I really enjoy flying through a book, getting it done, getting it over with, but I just really enjoy the moment. So I assume the title is what it's about. I'm not going to go more into it. The last book of this ginormous haul is none other than The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. I read the book by Jeanette McCurdy, so it made me want to read another, is it autobiography? I assume that's what it is. I really enjoyed her, so I thought Michelle Obama would have some good advice. I've seen some interviews about her talking about her relationship with her husband and what it was like when they started having kids, and I read the first few pages of this, and it was about, I think, her grandfather. And also, I'm not gonna lie, autobiography will put me to sleep, so it's good to read a book that you aren't super like losing your mind over, so you can go to bed. Did I love Jeanette McCurdy's book? I did, but did it help me fall asleep? It did. It did. So this might be one of the books that helps me fall asleep, but it also gives me some good life lessons. So here we go. Now, just as a bonus, I'm going to show you what I'm reading right now. I also want to show you this because I have grown, I have improved. I did not buy this on Book of the Month. I did not. I got it from the library. And this book is Wayward by Amelia Hart. So far, so good. Maybe read 20 pages, and I think it's about following the timelines of 4 different women, and I'm guessing they're a part of the same family, and it's just the 1600s, 1900s, 21st century, and they're all having different problems. One of them is being accused of being a witch, one of them is in an abusive relationship, and the other one, I cannot remember right now, but I'm just 20 pages in, so don't worry, I didn't give anything away. But the cover, it's beautiful, and I really enjoy things with animals, naturalism. So they've already talked about some animals. Oh, the other girl was about, she was living with her father, and he just wanted to keep her inside and didn't want her to learn about anything, but she really had an interest in animals. So there we go. That is the haul of all the books. Let me see if I can show you. Is that ridiculous? Yeah, it is. Am I happy? Yeah. Am I a little bit anxious of how much this probably cost? Yeah, I really am. But I can say that I did not buy all of those, so that kind of helps my anxiety a bit. But I'm going to stop after seeing how many are down there, and I really have a problem of I am buying more than I am consuming. So I don't know how long I'll be on a ban, but I will be on a ban. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun. It gives me a creative outlet. I really enjoy editing the videos. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast, but I did not want to talk too slow. Check out my other videos. I have a podcast I haven't updated in forever. Well, I did actually a week ago, but it's not as consistent. It's called Adulting Newbie. And, you know, let me know what you're reading. Anything in the comments that is nice is acceptable. Please do not be mean to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.